Hi, it's Maureen. Welcome back to Mooncrafter Nails and More. This is a little video on getting to know me. I hope to get to know you as we comment back and forth and have discussions. But for right now, I'd like you to get to know me a little bit. Starting out with, how did I learn how to do all this stuff that I know how to do? Why does everybody I know jokingly, not really jokingly, but semi-jokingly call me Martha Stewart? Basically, to be honest, it's because I'm a cheap bitch. That's the honest truth. I just have a hard time paying somebody to do something I know I can do. With very little effort, I could learn how to do something. So why should I pay somebody else to do it? Now, back in the day, mind you, I am 52, so I didn't always have the internet or YouTube to go to. So I had to go to the library and grab a book, or ask people I knew if they knew how to do something and learn how to do it that way. And sometimes that's a lot better way, in my opinion. So that's why I decided that I was going to share what I know via these videos. Because one-on-one, especially in a video where you can rewind, you might not be able to ask me questions immediately, but you certainly can rewind and go back and see something that you didn't quite catch. So I want to give back. And my husband and I are both very serious about giving back. Very serious about it. We rescue dogs, we donate to the local pounds and rescues, everything from food and peanut butter to blankets, you name it. I teach a sewing class, and the fee for that class is making items to donate, whether it be chemo caps for the local hospital, toys or blankets for the local fire and police departments, so when children are involved either in domestic violence or car accidents or home fire, they have blankets and toys they can hand them to help comfort the kid, just a little bit. It's not going to fix the problem, but it certainly does comfort them a little bit, give them something to hold on to. And that's important. So, my husband and I have been together for almost 40 years, since I was 13 and he was 17. I wouldn't have it any other way. 40 years is not enough. We had 2 children. We had a boy and a girl, match set as they say. For years I ran a fabric store. And if you ever want to learn how to sew, I can't stress enough what that did for me. I learned so much about notions and fabrics that I would have never had any other way of learning except through time. There aren't good sewing shows on anymore. There's Nancy's Notions, but there's not, an abundance of them like there used to be on HGTV. So there's a lot of notions and things out there that you don't know exist that make your life so much easier when you're sewing. And no matter how many sewing classes you take, I'm going to use products that another person isn't. So the only way to really get to know that is to hang out in the fabric store and read a lot of packages, or get a part-time job there for even a little while, and you'll be amazed what you'd learn. Then I started an alterations company, because as much as I knew how to sew for my own sake, because I've always been a bigger girl, so I couldn't naturally walk into stores and find everything I wanted right there on the rack. And my grandmother knew how to sew, and she was gracious enough to teach me how to sew and how to crochet and how to knit and how to cook and how to bake and ceramics and paint. But it made it real easy for me to be one-on-one with my grandmother, because she was more patient than most people. And when whatever the trend was at that moment came through, and I couldn't go to the store to find it in my size, she helped me figure out how to make it, even if I couldn't find a pattern in my size. So I learned how to design clothes very young. And I had friends that, for whatever reason, they couldn't find what they wanted either. And I learned real quick, I can make some money on this. So as my husband and I got together and deciding what we were going to do with the rest of our lives, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to go into business or if I wanted to go to medical school. And he would have supported me either way I wanted to go. And because I love sewing so much, the idea of doing this day in, day out just appealed to me no end. And helping other people who were having fitting issues, whether it be too tall, too short, too big, too small, too large busted, too small busted, no waist, you name it. the idea of putting somebody in a garment and fitting it to them and having them look in the mirror and see themselves and smile and just feel good about themselves. I love that. Absolutely love it. So after the alterations business, I said, the heck with this, no more overhead, I'm going to sew out of our home. So I started my own sewing company, and basically I worked with all the local bridal shops, and I did all their custom design and sewing and repairs and alterations, you name it. And with the designing and the sewing, I said, well, why don't I get into everything else? Because brides are always asking me, where do you get this? Where's a good haul? So I became a wedding coordinator too. And then I became an officiant. So I was able to help you from the day you said I do to the day the day you asked her to marry you to the day you said you do. I do? You do. Yes. So unfortunately in 1997 I fell and got hurt, and I could no longer handle the heavy weights of the bridal gowns. So I focused on everything else, and I got big into the sewing class I was discussing. And what it is a sewing class for people who can't basically afford sewing classes. Excuse me. In honor of the Swamp Queen. Oh, and this is a sugar-free iced coffee that I make. So if you want to know how to do that. Now, of course, the whipped cream isn't sugar-free, but the rest of it is. And it is better, in my opinion, than a Starbucks Frappuccino. I just poured over ice, but you certainly could do it with ground ice. And it's very chocolatey. And it's also caffeine free. So, as I said, we have the sewing class, and everybody donates items to cancer centers, to police and fire. And the reason we do that is because my mother died of cancer in 1991, and my husband beat cancer in 2005. And our daughter, who had been married at 13 years at that point, was murdered by her husband in 2012. He poisoned her to death, and he's in prison. But it was a year to prove he did it, and then another year to get to trial. And right at that point is when we found out my husband's cancer had returned. So he's been fighting it ever since. And the reason I haven't done any videos lately is he now has lung cancer. And he had a C. diff infection, followed by a bacterial infection, followed by a kidney blockage. So he was in and out of the hospital for the entire month of June. So right now he's home, and he's doing well. And I intend to do everything I can to keep it that way. We lost our little girl, and I'm not going to lose him if I can help it. But I am certainly going to enjoy every minute I have with him between now and then. So, I wanted you to know why it's important to me to do this channel. And yes, I want to help you learn how to do things with your nails. And yes, I want to help you learn how to do stained glass, or make sugar-free iced coffee, or sew, or get to know a sewing machine. Whatever you want to know how to do, just ask. If I don't know how to do it, I promise you I can find somebody who does. But giving back, helping you save a few dollars on a project, helping you feel better about yourself because look what you've accomplished, that makes me feel so good. And it's the kind of person my daughter was. So we rescue animals, we donate to animals in her name, and I'm doing this in her honor. If I can help one person out there feel better about themselves, my daughter's happy wherever she is, and so am I. And when I say be well, I truly mean it. And when I say stay positive, I know the difference it can make. So be well and stay positive.